Hello, this is Joe Bourne here from Your Baptist Church, and right in front of me here, I have a notebook that I've had for a while now. I found this at Walmart. It's a, I don't know, I guess that's the brand, but it's a one subject notebook with 80 sheets of paper. And this is a notebook that I have used to try and summarize what I've read in the Bible. This is my ESV study Bible that I use. One of my favorite Bibles to read personally. And I also, not this Bible, but I preach with an ESV. But this has nothing to do with preaching or pastoring or anything like that. This is how I personally try to keep myself consistent in my Bible reading, because we can get, I want to read my Bible, I want to keep it up, and you have maybe a Bible reading plan and you kind of stop after a little bit, or maybe you forget one day and you forget a day, you skip a day, and then it's hard to get back on it. It's hard to get back in routine. So this is something I've seen, that even when I do get out of routine, or I stop, I forget, or I push it away, I can come back to it, and it's something that makes me want to come back to doing it. So in here, actually, before I open it, not that there's anything super impressive in here, but there are two inspirations behind why I have done this. One is a project that I had to do at Regent University when I was there for my prophets class, where we had to summarize the book of Ezekiel in our own words. So just in your own words, summarize the book of Ezekiel for each chapter. So that was an assignment, and I really enjoyed it. It was really easy too. And the second inspiration was Pastor Matthew Everhard. He is no one I know in real life or personally, but on YouTube, he is a Presbyterian pastor, and he has a lot of videos about note-taking in your Bible and consistent Bible reading, as well as other things. But I saw his notebook, and in combination with that and the assignment I had, this is what I've done. So, of course, the Bible begins with the book of Genesis. I write the name of it at the top, and then on each page, I have enough room, if I give myself 3 lines, skip this first one, 3 lines for each chapter. I got a little bit of space down here, and this might depend on what notebook you use if you do it yourself, but I'm able to fit 10 chapters with 3 spaces on each page. And you see 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Genesis has 50 chapters. Then you got Exodus. 10, 20. Exodus has 40 chapters. 30, 40. You got Leviticus. 10, 20, and 27. So you get a little bit of space down here. If you run off a little bit over 3 at the end, then you got a little bit of space. And so on and so on. And I try and summarize each chapter in my own words. Genesis 1. In the beginning was nothing except God, who speaks creation into existence, making progressively the world from light itself on the first day to mankind made in God's image, with much dominion on the 6th. So I had to squeeze that all in there, but it kind of makes you think, how can I best summarize this passage in such a short amount of space? Chapter 2, everything that God made was good, very good, and he finished and rested on the 7th day, declaring it holy. Before this, God put man, Adam, in Eden to keep and work it. No partner was suitable, but woman who came from him. Chapter 3, the man and woman were perfect, but listened to the words of a serpent who contradicted the commands of God, for God had told them not to eat a particular fruit. Yet the couple do so anyway and are cursed and sent out. Hopefully you can read my handwriting, but this is less to show you what I've done and more so to show you how you could do it. And you see that I've gotten up to chapter 30 so far in my Genesis reading in this notebook. And this is true for example, here is 1st and 2nd Samuel. I finished them in their entirety. You've got all the first 10 chapters of 1 Samuel, next 10, and so on till you get to chapter 31, whereas 1 Samuel ends. 2 Samuel, so on. I've not finished the whole Bible, of course. I've started some, hopped around some. And you've got the New Testament back here. The book of John I've completed. In this notebook, I try and best to summarize it. Of course, the different genres are going to be summarized differently. In the gospel, you see Jesus' life and describing what's going on, his teachings. Here's my summary of John chapter 17. Jesus lifts his eyes to the Father in heaven and prays that he be glorified for his glory. He prays for his disciples, both immediate and forever, to be sanctified. And hopefully in coming years, or when I finish this notebook, I can redo this all, try it again, and see how do I summarize this chapter now, which I finished this back in May of last year. So honestly, I could go ahead and get another notebook and start it again. But and you got these shorter chapters in the back of the New Testament, and say for example Philemon, one chapter. And on this back page, I have put check marks of my chapter summary progress, and these are the ones that I've completed entirely with the check marks. But all you do is just you go through, you read. I would say make sure you read the chapter beforehand. I lost my bookmark. There it is. Read the chapter in its entirety first. This Bible here that I have does not have much space to write in it, but I have a lot of underlining, circling, and a little bit of stuff, bolding, and I read it for myself. And then I go on and I will summarize it. The perk of that is, for example, tomorrow when I read chapter 31, I say, well, what happened in chapter 30? You go down here. Yep, you can read what happened prior. And the only exception to this rule that I have in this notebook, but say you got a different notebook, this won't matter. But where is it? The book of Psalms. How many Psalms are there? There are 150 Psalms. And I could not fit it in this notebook with 3 lines. They get 2 lines each, with 15 on each page. And some of the Psalms I've read in order. Some of the Psalms I just skip around. Some are read in order. Yeah. And you might see a key difference. How can you I couldn't figure out how to summarize the Psalms in just a short little 2 lines. So this is something that Ivy told me, is that, say for example, Psalm 22. What I've done here is I've put the first verse down, or first line of each psalm, for the most part. This is something she told me that she learned, is that when Jesus says on the cross, go to Psalm 22, 1 second. These pages are not turning. Psalm 22. My God, why have you forsaken me? Now, Jesus is referring to the whole psalm there. And when I summarize that, I'll write, my God, why have you forsaken me? And this will include the whole of the chapter, hopefully. Psalm 1 begins with, blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked. Of course, I couldn't finish the whole verse because it would have taken too long. But Psalm 2, why do the nations rage and the peoples plot in vain? So there's quotation marks. I've put quotation marks because this is not a summary of mine, but this is the beginning line of it. So Psalms is the exception, with 15 on each, 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90, 105, 120, 135, and 150. So that's the system I've done for it. And hopefully maybe you could employ something similar in your own Bible reading or note-taking that'll keep you not only consistent, but remembering what happens each chapter. Then you can say, well, I remember that happened in Genesis chapter 8, and so on. So thank you, and you have a good day. God bless. Bye-bye.